Today we are going to be looking at a substitute for oats. And, a lot of times when we do substitutes for foods that we know and love and that we've eaten in the past, we find that they're not quite as good as the original. In many cases they're not. I mean, let's just be honest. But there are some cases, some wonderful cases where they're actually better than the original.
Yes.
And what we're going to share today is something that's actually better than oats, and best of all, it does not spike your blood sugar much, or it should not. So to start with, we're going to look at how oats affect blood sugar. Oats are considered the mother of all health foods. If you're into health food, you better eat oats. You better have them every morning, have them every night. And you have people on YouTube that will say, I ate oats for 30 days, and look how much stronger and better looking I am now than I was 30 days ago.
Okay.
And people just make such a big deal about oats and oatmeal. And sadly, people that test their blood sugar tend to move away from oats because the blood sugar meter does not lie, and it will tell you that oats and grains of nearly all kinds are going to spike your blood sugar, no matter what their reputation. So if a whole bunch of people come to me and stand outside my house shouting, oatmeal, 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 they still would not convince me to eat oatmeal, because that is, my blood sugar meter has already told me it doesn't work. And here's a couple more examples. Go ahead and read comment number 1. This is one of the comments from under one of my videos about oatmeal.
Comment number 1. My taste for oatmeal before eating was 121. 2 hours later, 242. Double. Haven't touched it since.
Wow.
Haven't touched it since that.
242 from 121.
Yeah, that's something.
In 2 hours, and quite possibly it was higher at 1 hour or an hour and 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
But 242, that is ridiculously high.
Yeah, it was high.
It's not just slightly high. It's not just moderately high. It is ridiculously high. And this person has enough sense to say, well, why should I eat something that spikes my blood sugar? Go ahead, read comment number 2.
Comment number 2 says, I also thought oats were good. I stopped having rice and rotis, but stuck to oats, and it did nothing. In fact, it wasn't my blood sugar problem. I had to donate rice, I had to donate oats, and wheat to people.
Okay. So he says, he thought he was being very virtuous, very wise by stopping the rice, stopping the rotis. Sounds like an Indian man or Indian woman.
Okay.
They love rotis. But he said, well, at least I can eat oats.
Yeah.
Because they have such a good reputation.
Yeah, people talk good about it.
Who would dare to say something negative about oats? Let me go ahead and read one. This one says, testing myself after oatmeal, my blood sugar spiked to 190. Is what tipped me off that I'm insulin resistant. This cereal actually is considered on the low side of the glycemic index scary. Yeah, sometimes these claims about being low glycemic index make you think, well, I don't need to test. This obviously is fine because it's low glycemic.
Yeah.
But when it bumps you up to 190, you're in dangerous territory. One of the first things I learned about diabetes when I was having my own struggles years and years ago, like 21 years ago or so, our secretary at the ministry where I worked, her husband was very badly diabetic, and he actually died from it. But he was giving himself insulin, and I asked her, when does he give himself insulin? And she said the doctor told him if it ever rises above 150, start giving yourself insulin.
Okay.
So he was watching his blood sugar, and if it ever went over 150, that's when, along with pre-meal and the long range. So anyway, you do not want your blood sugar over 150 for sure, but oatmeal, in this case, he says, does that. And then this one I find is almost humorous. He says, I keep trying oatmeal because I love it. He keeps trying.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to try, right?
Don't give it up.
Try.
Try. Don't give it up.
He says, I keep trying oatmeal because I love it. But nope, it always raises my blood sugar, and then in capital letters, a lot.
Okay.
So here is a guy, you got to give him credit. He's trying. but he's at least got enough sense to finally say, nope.
No.
It always not sometimes raises my blood sugar, not occasionally raises my blood sugar, but always raises my blood sugar a lot. So finally I had to give it up. Now, people that don't test with their glucose meter, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
All they know is it tastes pretty good. Now, last night, I made this, I don't know, you could call it fake oatmeal. Really, it's just a healthy alternative to oatmeal.
Okay.
It's not really fake. There's not a single oat in there. So I made it, and it had kind of a strange purplish color.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Well, it has blueberries in it, the one we made last night. Today we're going to make it with strawberries, but last night I made it with blueberries, and I was just loving it. And I showed it to you, and your response was?
No, by the time I took one look at that purple, I was like, okay, what is that? Not eating it.
This lady goes much more by the looks of a food than by the taste or by whether it's healthy for you. If it looks bad, it's going to be hard. You almost have to take a pry bar and open her mouth with a pry bar to get her to even take a bite, which I never, of course, would. But anyway, I did try to get her to taste it by going on and on about how good it was. And I wasn't exaggerating. It really was good. And showing it to her a second time and a third time. And, this is so good. And I'm kind of watching to see if maybe she'll try it. Finally, she breaks down. I wore down that Nigerian resistance.
Yeah, you did.
I just kept going, sort of like Delilah with Samson. You just keep wearing him down until finally they
Delilah says, really?
So finally she said, all right, I'll take a bite. And so I gave you a bite. And what was your response?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
It was good. In my book, it was great. So we're going to come back in a little bit. We're going to show you how to make it. This comes from Keto Focus, I believe, is the name of the lady.
Okay.
And I've changed up the recipe just a little bit. Almost any recipe I find, I have to densize it and kind of change it to suit me. But it's mostly her recipe. And wow, I find it great. We'll see if Benedicta likes this version of it we are going to make today. So we'll be back in a little bit. And now we will find out whether the queen bee actually likes this or not. Watch carefully as she takes a bite.
I kind of like it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's really good.
Really good. Not just good, but really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I've already told you that I liked it last night, and so unless this is remarkably changed, I will still like it, although this is the strawberry version. Last night was the blueberry version.
Yeah.
It's as good as oats.
Yeah, it's good.
Maybe better, in my mind.
Yeah.
And just part of it's psychological, just knowing this is not going to jack up my blood sugar like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So give it a try. If you eat breakfast, this would be a great breakfast. If you say, well, my first meal is lunch, make this your lunch. You could add something with it, piece of cheese or some low-carb vegetable or even a salad, whatever you like. But all by itself, it is quite good. And just don't take our word for it. Test it with who? Who should they use to test this with their blood sugar?
Mike the Meter.
Yes, Mike the Meter. There's an ongoing debate as to who's the most popular person on this channel. Obviously, it's not me. Some say it's Benedict, others say it's Mike the Meter. So it's a close tie.
Yeah, I think my fans... they know that it's me, and Mike has his fans, and then I think they'll go for him. So maybe, are we voting? What are we doing?
Yeah, you can leave a comment below. Who do you like better, Mike or Benedicta? And hopefully she will.
Oh my, I can't believe this is going on. Like, really comparing me to Mike. I can't believe this is going on. Oh my goodness.
Hold it. Stop the presses. I love saying that. Since we made this video, I've been eating these keto oats almost every day for about the last 5 or 6 days, working on making this recipe more to my liking. And not that I didn't like it before, but I just kept thinking, man, we could change this, we could change that. And I'm happy to announce I have succeeded. The recipe Ben and I enjoyed was quite good, but the recipe I'm going to share with you is even better still. So here it is. Start by putting 1/2 cup of the nuts of your choice in a chopper, or you can chop them by hand or even pound them with a hammer. Any nuts will work, but avoid cashews as they're too high in carbs. Chop the nuts into small bits. I've been using almonds. Add 1 tablespoon of almond flour, then 1 tablespoon of flax meal. I prefer golden flax meal. I think it's better. Add 2 tablespoons of no sugar added protein powder. This version has 1 net gram of carbs per scoop, but 2 tablespoons of this powder would be less than a scoop. Add 1 teaspoon of chia seeds. Add 2 tablespoons of non-sugar sweetener. I normally used Swerve. Shakes of salt. Once again, run your chopper to blend everything up nicely. Now set that aside. In another bowl, mash up a 1/4 cup of berries, either blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries. Then add 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, add 1 ounce of cream cheese, and then add a 1/2 cup of water. Now you can use more or less water depending on how thick or runny you like your oatmeal. Heat this up in the microwave. It takes about 2 minutes in my microwave. Yours may be different. After heating, pour the mixture into your chopper and blend it up. This will turn those chunks of cream cheese into a nice, smooth, semi-liquid. If you want your berries to be chunkier and less liquidy, you can leave them out of this process and add them at the very end. Now mix your liquid ingredients with your dry ingredients, and with a little stirring, voila, you have oatmeal. Well, of course, it's not real oatmeal, but it sure tastes just as good. And in my book, it tastes better than oatmeal without the blood sugar spike. In fact, Mike the glucose meter liked these oats so well as a dinner that twice, when I tested my blood sugar that next morning, I had a number lower than I almost ever get, a 78. Wow, what could be better than that? Here's a version of oats that doesn't have a single oat in it, but it tastes awesome and is kind to your blood sugar. I want to encourage you to join Benedicta and me in our home through our new podcast, Discover the Word with Den and Ben. While you drive in your car or while you walk or exercise at the gym, you can be learning the Bible through our low-key, user-friendly Bible studies. To get the information you need to listen to our Discover the Word with Den and Ben podcast, click on the link in the description.